Welcome back. The name is Antoine Christopher, the artist. And for those of you who already know how much I love my Taster's Choice, how you been? Everything's good? Welcome to episode number 2. Today, we're going to talk about hyperrealism versus caricature. Okay, but before I get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I really appreciate it. So before I get into the topic of hyperrealism and versus caricature, I want to talk about what it takes to do what we do as artists, at least from my opinion, my point of view. Okay, so it takes a lot of concentration. People think you're in the environment of your studio like I am in right now, that, oh, it's nice, the weather's outside, you sit down, you sip coffee, and you draw all day. Well, it takes a lot more than that. It takes your concentration, and we have to have respect for what we do, which is very important coming from the clients, because people think, well, all you're doing is drawing. We're not really just drawing. Actually, we're creating, and that's a process. It's a process in itself. Just like when a doctor prepares to go into surgery, he has his scalpel and he has to make sure everything is set, the table spread out. We have our own tools. We have my paintbrush, I have my pastels, I have my eraser. I have things that I set up to get into that frame of mind to produce what's behind me. So, and that takes a level of concentration, okay? And that concentration is not something that you just enjoy or you just wake up to. I love drawing. For me, it's not even work, but it still takes that frame of mind to set up and get ready to produce, in my opinion, a masterpiece. And that's what I tried. That's what most artists go into. We don't just wake up every day and go, this is what I'm gonna paint. No, it's been boiling in us. Just like, you turn on the stove and water takes time to boil. Well, we turn on that stove and it takes time to boil. And it takes time to create. And when that gets to the right level, we're like, okay, I got this. And then you start the process of, doing the line work, choosing the colors, getting our things, getting that. So I just wanted to let you know that it's not always what people may think, that it's coffee, beautiful weather, studio, and here we go, let's just draw. No, there's a level of respect that I think artists deserve in order to bring out that creativity for the client and what they want to see. Well, first of all, I want to say this. Thank you very much. I actually received questions. And I want to tell you, thank you very much for those questions. So I'm going to get to it. I'm going to read the question and answer it. First one comes from Mary. What is the difference between drawing some simple figure, caricature, versus something hyper-realistic? And as you can see behind me, I have a caricature drawing that I'm doing. I was commissioned to do this one of a mobster. I named him Mr. Kinski. And I have my original Mayweather picture behind me, which is done in pastel on board 32 by 40. So I'm going to explain the same process, the process that I have to get into it, so you understand what Antoine Christopher does and how he does it. Okay? Okay, so here I have a caricature pencil drawing. This is the outline. Actually, it reminds me of my animation days when I used to design characters doing 2D animation. I always loved 2D animation. It's a passion of mine. And here I have the original Mayweather. It's done in, as I said, it's done with pastel, Rembrandt pastel drawings. And it's fixed. I put fixative on it to make it look like that. So it's all fixed and dried up. Usually it's good to the touch. Okay. So this is the same effort I take to do the Mayweather is the same effort I put into doing Mr. Kinski over here. The line work is actually something I take pride in, because I want my lines to be clean, right? So I'll make it clean. Even though I'm going to matte the lines down later, I'm going to get them lighter because I'm going to go over with a black pen. As you can see, the design, the accuracy, how I want it to look, the Tommy gun. And there's still things I want to add to it. I'm going to put the bullets down here rippling. I always draw in a blue line. That's why the blue line is there, because I'm not sure if that's how I want the hat to be finished. Although I think it looks good like that, I might make subtle changes. So I always draw in blue. And I use these blue pens because they're animation pencils, I like to call them. And as you can see, I draw through my character. Even though I can't see what's happening underneath the head, I still draw through the character. Okay, you can see that underneath. So that's how it would form if his head was completely there. Then I put, how big I want the hat to be, because it's a caricature, so you want to have fun with it. And then once that's done, okay, I'll take my normal eraser, I'll erase it lightly, like this, just erase it lightly, brush it off. And then, once again, I will go over it and I'll go, okay, this is where the line is and this is how. And from here, I even make more changes if I have to. Okay? I even make more changes if I have to. And that's my process for that. Now, the difference, I don't like to say there's a difference on how between caricature and hyperrealism. The thing is this, the same line quality is underneath this when I drew it. Okay? This is going to be painted by Golden. I love drawing on alpha matte crescent paper. Love that. For my acrylics, I love using Golden. They're very rich in color. Love using them. Me. So that's how my process is. For me, Rembrandt pastels, I've spoken to them, I think in my first episode, is what I like because they're rich, they're very thick. Your hands take a beating using them. Trust me on that. They're not exactly the softest, but I lotion up. I always make sure I lotion up with them. Okay? So, again, this is, my caricature, my pencil line work, but first I start with the blue line, get the character down from the blue line, erase the blue line, and then I start working on my pencil line. And remember, I always design, even though I can't see the head underneath the hat, I still design like it's there. Because it has to be continuous, it has to be realistic, it has to be thick. So I'll even have the center line for the head, I'll have the dome, and from there, the more accurate you can draw the caricature, okay, the more accurate you can draw that caricature, the better you can elongate things, warp it, make it funny. All right, I like the bullet coming out of the gun. I drew the gun. I said, you know what? I wanted this to be thicker. So from the tininess, I made it come out a little bit more. Even though it may not make sense for a caricature, it makes a lot of sense. All right? So thank you very much, Mary, for that question. I really appreciate it, and I hope I answered your question. If not, just, send it to me again or tell me what I need to explain more to you, and I'd be happy to do so. So once again, thank you, Mary. Now, believe it or not, I got another question. This one comes from Daniel, 26. What motivates you to get up every morning and draw? First of all, Daniel, thank you for that question. And, I like it when people tell me their age. If you could tell me where you're from, that really helps because I just like to know, I like to get to know who I'm talking to. And I can at least have my own visual of you, who you are. So that's a good question. Daniel, to be honest with you, I love everything about art. I love art. I love the mess. I love the organization. I love the smell of pastel. It's not even work. To be honest with you, I look forward to it. Sometimes shutting my brain down at night to get the sleep that I need to get up and do the next day is hard. And when I get up the next day, believe it or not, the first thing I do is not draw because I know if I look at it, I'm going to end up going to it right away. But I have things to do. I like to go to the gym because health is very important to me and get my body in tip-top shape, come home decompressed, and then I'm ready to go for that. So what motivates me is honestly the love for my family, love knowing my family supports me, love having that in my mind, and just the overall how much I love art and painting and drawing. So that to me is very important, and I look forward to doing it so it's not work. Also, Daniel, I want to say my friends and my family. I got great friends that respect what I do. With this whole social media thing today and my phone buzzing and all that, when I'm drawing, my friends are so understanding. They know that, oh, Antoine's drawing, he's doing his thing. And I want to thank them for them because they support me and they motivate me. And only certain people get to come over and see my artwork and half work done because I don't like showing half of a work because then there's so many questions. Hey, how come this looks like that? How come that looks like, and I have to explain to them, well, it's not finished. But yeah, the support that I have from my family and friends makes a big deal. So, once again, thank you, Daniel. The next question comes from Stacy. How hyper-realistic do I like to get? Now, that is a good, interesting question. And Stacy, The next time you email me, I'd love for you, or email me a question or text it to me. I'd love to know how old you are and why you're asking that question, because that's a very important question. My style of hyperrealism is, because I do from watercolor to oil painting to acrylics, and you can get really detailed with a paintbrush. I mean, you can go up close, get that magnifying. It can look photographic. But I like to work in pastels. I love to work in all mediums, but I love working in pastels. Because pastels keeps you challenging. You know, because you can't get I can't go out and buy a #1 Rembrandt pastel. It's like this thick. I can't file it down because now you're wasting your money. So what I like to do is I have to put a little line there, smudge it with my finger, use a kneaded eraser, clean it up till it gets to the dot that I want. And that is challenging because that's what makes it hyperrealism, because you're getting in that close. The texture of the skin, the dark shadows, the lip, the making it look wet, the sweat, as you can see, all that sort of stuff. But so my challenge is to make it as hyper-realistic as I can using pastels. But what I love about it is I don't want it to be photographic. I love when you say, oh, that looks like a photograph, great. But then when you go up close, you see that it's an actual painting or an actual pastel drawing. That to me is the art part, the creation part. You know, there's photography and then there's a recreation of what you took. And that to me is the art part. Trying to make it look like photography, but at the end of the day, you walk up close to it and you're like, oh my God, that's a painting. That's so cool. I love it, you know? And that's the trickery that I like. That's what my balance that I like to have. Can I work in oil paint and get it extremely detailed? For some artists, they love that. More respect to them. But I like to try to make it look like a photograph up until you go up close and you realize that it's a painting or whatever medium that person used. And that's why I like it. And also, another thing that to keep in mind is everybody has their own style. I just find that my style, that works best for me because that challenges me. So I hope that answers that question. And this is Antoine Christopher, once again, the artist, signing off with a coffee in hand. Taster's choice, of course. Keep the questions coming. You know, this is really good. I'm going to try to actually get this done soon so I can show you what the colored version looks like. But I'll make sure once I get it done, I'm definitely going to share it with you and show you what the final work looked like. And you may change, who knows, because I'm going to add the background in. And I had a good friend of mine told me, hey, why don't you put Tommy gun bullets on the ground like he fired it? And I wasn't even thinking of that. So you see, my inspiration comes from everybody. My creation comes from everybody. I'm not one of these type of artists that what I know is the only thing. No, if my friend says, hey, I think I would like to see that, I like to put it in there. And I pay homage to him. So thank you, Farman. All right, take care. And once again, like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And hopefully I get a chance to do this with you again. And signing off.